question. Oh, you miss my touching. You do. Show me something. Give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you're a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it. I wanna see it. See how. Rewind. When we rewind, it feels so nice. I can't help got this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk. You need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. We've been dancing all night long. Right here with you way too long. Don't want nothing here or now. But I'm done waiting, done wasting my time. Got this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk. You need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way.
everybody. Welcome to the show. And it's I'm kind of behind on a couple things. I thought I was ready to go today, and so some of the stuff that I'm going to bring up, I'm going to be bringing up on the fly. We're just going to dig through some of my aggregators and see things. I have a few things ready to go, but it's just one of those days where I had so much going on this morning, even without being at work. But no excuses. I'm here. I got a show prepared. I got stuff. I have a bunch of stuff open, and I may have to open some more stuff. But you know me, I can always talk about something. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the coof. One of my favorite subjects, me being a survivor of the coof. And just some interesting things coming up. It's almost as though people are starting to get it. People are starting to understand it, and it's annoying a lot of people. A lot of people are not happy that people are starting to get it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you're going to know in about a minute, because that's about how long the intro takes. Johnny, play the intro, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. And stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy I'm here. It is Tuesday, the 15th of June, 2021, the 612th episode of the Morning Night Live. And as the title of the episode indicates, it seems to be sinking in with some people that perhaps, just perhaps,
China is asshole.
Oh, no. You can do much better than that.
China is asshole.
Ah, there we go. Yes, that perhaps that certain facility in the city of origin, in the country of origin that shall not be named, may have a little more to do with what's going on in our world than was originally thought. And when some of your top comedians start joking about it, well, maybe we're on to something, or it's just sinking in. That's what I'm saying. But before we get into that too deep, let me say good morning to the people in the chat. First in the chat today was Jonathan Peterson, who gets the bell. Good morning, sir. And congratulations. You are the first in the chat today. Also, good morning, Lord Stanhope, who asked the question, is there anybody out there? Hello. Is there? Oh, that's in there, not out there. Well, is there anybody out there? That's close enough. Also, good morning, Special K on Acid. Nice to see you this fine morning. Advocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocates in the house. Good morning, Furry Kitten. Nice to see you back. Good morning, Renee Mayette. Hello, Cracked. Hello, People's Front of Canada. Hello, Asian Research Directorate. Good morning also to Keenan, K-Shull, Jedi Ghost Bear, and that's all that's chatted so far. So the chat's not quite as lively, but there are quite a few people in the room. If you like what we do at the Morning Night Live, make sure you hit that like button and share the stream out. The more, the merrier. The more people in the chat, just the thing gets going and it gets lively, and we have a good time in the chat. So, and also, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, there's opportunities for that too. You can do that. It's all down in the description down below, or you can just hit that little YouTube super chat thing or the Streamlabs link, which is in the description down below, or it'll be in the chat every once in a while. You know how it works. Or you can just go to PDawgKnight.live. The very top of PDawgKnight.live is, if you put the chat in there, I'll read it right here on the show like I always do. You know how it works. Now, that's from the movie Comfortably Numb, or the song. Well, the song, yeah. Oh, that's from the, okay, yeah. Comfortably Numb is the best song of all time. Really? Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb is the best song of all time? Huh. I've never thought of it that way, but you say what you will. Everyone has a favorite, and that's how it goes. All right, let's get into a little news. Well, not news. This is just a funny little bit that happened on the Daily Show. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get in trouble for this. I don't know if I'm going to have to mute this later, if I'm going to get one of those little, get one of those copyright strikes or whatever. But Jon Stewart on the Daily Show made a funny. And, Jon Stewart is capable of being funny. He was actually, I thought he was a funny guy way back when he was doing stand-up. And, the Daily Show, even if you don't necessarily follow the politics of Jon Stewart, he can still be funny and acerbic and biting. And I got to tell you, it's just one of those things. So anyway, the broken clock struck again for Mr. Stewart. Hang on a second here. Let me fix this real quick, because wait a minute, what happened to Ace? Oh, there it is. There we go. All right. So Jon Stewart made a funny on the Daily Show, and it seems to still be up on this thing. So he was talking about the coof virus. And you'll just have to kind of watch it, and we'll see if I get the strike or not. I might have to cut this out of the final version that goes up on YouTube, but we'll see. Anyway, here we go.
I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science
yes.
has...
Science! You blinded me with science. Do. Yes, we owe a great deal of gratitude to science.
In many ways helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Oh, snap. Did he just say what I thought he said? Which was more than likely caused by science? You see where this is going. If you haven't seen it yet, this is where you go. This is where it's going. And look, does it look like Stephen is happy with that assessment? He's backing up. Stephen's not so sure. Here we go. Oops, what'd I do there? What the hell is that? Okay, here we go.
And that's kind of all of it. No.
He needs some coffee because he ain't sure where this is going.
Now, listen.
It's coffee. I would do that. I would do that to you. What do you mean by it? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this is created in a lab as an investigation?
A chance?
A chance? Oh, a chance? Oh. I think John's about to go where Stephen doesn't want him going.
Oh my God.
Evidence, I'd love to hear.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do we do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan Novel Respiratory Coronavirus Lab.
The lab right next door.
Disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask those scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle.
I'm just stopping it off because I gotta say something. A pangolin kissed a turtle. Wait a minute, he's got more jokes.
And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan.
Oh, yes, Grenade, I did get out of HB's basement. I escaped that weirdo that he had down there that was really bothering me. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'll tell you later. Anyway,
there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey monkey, and then it sneezed into my chili, and now we all have coronavirus. Like, come on,
You know, here's the thing. And Asan, you're not late. How you doing? Hi, T-Ball. What's up? Hello, Gen T. Good morning. Who else snuck in here? Cracked was already here. People's Front of Canada was already here. Okay, I'm caught up. Hello, everybody. You know, every once in a while, Jon Stewart throws out a truth bomb that some people just cannot diffuse. Here we go.
Wait about this.
Wait a second.
All right, John. Oh my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like,
oh. Do you think this theory will gain some traction after Jon Stewart did this? Because this is all over the internet right now. Now, I got to tell you, wait till you see some of the comments, though, under this post. It's amazing that people are so... Well, I'll tell you in a minute, because I'm going to show you some of the reaction to this. And you're going to go, why? Anyway, keep going, John.
maybe a steam shovel made with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
That could be.
So, now, that's not even the one I had. Now, it goes on a little longer, and I'm going to see if I can find the one that I had. I think, yeah, this one's, wait, hang on.
Maybe that's it.
That could be.
Oh, no, that was it. So that's it. So, now I found, now let's go back to this, because some of the reactions to this are a little bit unnerving, that people are so invested. There's people so invested in this being what they said it was in the beginning, and how and obviously the obsession with blaming this on Trump is also one of those things. So I'm looking at some of the let's just look at the replies. So this guy right here, one of the first comments. His evidence is that they have a place there that studies viruses. I'm going to need a bit more than that. Really, are you now? And someone says that I'm sure you needed more evidence with Russian collusion narrative too. No, and part of the reason I'm skeptical on this is that Trump's buddies are the ones pushing it so hard. Really? Really now? I didn't know the New York Times was one of Trump's buddies. In fact, I'm pretty sure the New York Times doesn't like Trump at all. No one in the newsroom at the New York Times likes Donald Trump. Now, this person too, I want to go through some of the replies to this person. They don't just study viruses, they create viruses for gain-of-function research. Oh, well, euphemism, gain of function, is getting so long in the tooth. Call it what it really is, biological weapons research and deployment. Well, yeah, maybe. Also, they have papers on it. Fauci lied to Congress about gain of function funding. This article is 6 years old and they knew it was risky. Okay, there's an article in Nature. I'll just put that one out there. And again, this one, there's really not much point in having a lab that studies coronavirus is if the lab that studies coronavirus can't tell us where the coronavirus in their backyard came from. Oh, snap. The lab is designed to create a virus in order to research vaccine effectiveness against short viruses. They told Fauci how this was created in the email. Yeah, because they have some emails. And this there's a good reaction. Guy with his fingers in his ears. No one in the New York Times liked Trump. They desire it. Avocado, these people are morons. If a disease broke out in the town next to a CDC lab in the USA, they wouldn't hesitate to link it to the lab. No, not at all, because that would be that would be because the evil Americans did it, and we're, what is that line in the Tom, what's the guy's name? The Tom McDonald Snowflake song or whatever, where he says, nobody hates America more than Americans. Good morning. Why are you so angry? Nice to see you. Anyway, let's see. There's a couple others here that were doozies. Interesting to see how all of a sudden it's not xenophobic to make these claims. I'm old enough to remember what it was. Yeah, that's true. It is bizarre that when people try to pretend the coronavirus lab in Wuhan had no connection with coronavirus infecting Wuhan. True. Imagine thinking the intelligence service didn't know exactly where it came from, what it was, how it acted, what treated it, and what jab had been developed for it on December 2019. Even if it started in China, that is. Even if it started in China, that is. Now, I'm not sure what he's saying there. But that's why Trump said it came from the lab. Then our free press shouted him down. Let's see an answer to that. Trump said it without evidence. Oh, did he now? Did they now? Of course, they also, who said with those, there was a bat. It was from a bat in the wet market. What evidence do they have of that? Other than, the Chinese government said it might have came from that. A bat that is not even in that region. It's 180 miles away or 200 miles away. The bat doesn't travel there. Anyway, Anyway, I thought that was very funny and very apropos. Now, speaking of coronavirus, since we have I have a few articles on this. Here's this article. I'll put this in the links. This article from Nature from 12 November 2015. Engineer bat virus stirs debate over risky research. Okay, we'll do that. A lab-made coronavirus related to SARS can affect human cells. An experiment that created a hybrid version of the bat coronavirus, one related to the virus that causes SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, has triggered renewed debate over whether engineered lab variants of viruses with possible pandemic potential is worth the risk. In an article published in Nature Medicine on 9 November, scientists investigated a virus called SHC014, which is found in horseshoe bats in China. The research created a chimeric virus made up of surface protein of SHC014 and the backbone of a SARS virus that has been adapted to grow in mice and mimic human disease. The chimera infected human airway cells, proving that the surface protein of SHC014 was the necessary structure to bind key receptors. Anyway, this is an old Nature article from 2015 talking about how this type of research is risky and fascinating that now we're starting to hear about all this stuff. Good morning, Bishop. What's up? Nice to see you. Pull my finger. Dad jokes. LOL. Well, I'm not pulling your finger. Anyway, now, just in other COVID news, there's a bunch of it, but I'm just going to go, and they're kind of in a random order. Members of Congress hold a moment of silence for Americans who died of COVID-19. Lawmakers gathered outside the Capitol as U.S. deaths near 600,000. As the United States approaches the grim milestone of 600,000 coronavirus deaths, a group of bipartisan lawmakers gathered on the east front steps of the U.S. Capitol building on Monday evening to honor the lives lost. The group included Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Republican Leader Kevin McCarthy, and other bipartisan members of Congress. Watch live as a moment of silence is held at the U.S. Capitol to mark 600,000 Americans lost to COVID. Interesting. They got a picture of here. Anyway, it's a particularly jarring moment, the moment of recovery, optimism, and hope to remember the enormity of the lives lost for the past 15 months, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said earlier on the Senate floor Monday. Not only that, we face the grim reality that these recent fatalities happened while Americans were on the verge of getting the vaccine. Some have had their appointment just days away. Now, it's interesting they have this picture of Ilhan Omar tearing up and a couple other, I don't recognize the other people. Oh, there's Sheila Jackson Lee. Who else is in this picture? There's McCarthy, Schumer, Amy Klobuchar. I found this on Amy Klobuchar, my my senator, I loathe to say that word or that sentence or that string of words in one sentence, but I do, had tweeted this out. That's how I found this. But anyway, so yeah, they had their moment of silence and photo op. So anyway, somebody, how you doing? Came here from Hard Bastard. Well, okay, so let me explain my whole basement thing now because yesterday on Hard Bastard stream, a lot of you know that I am a frequent flyer over there, and occasionally he comes and visits me on this show. There was a running gag about people of color being retained in Hard Bastard's basement, and so I found that I myself also ended up being there. So in the chat, I made sure that I put out a call for help. Then people were very kind and got his attention and said, he said he didn't even know I was down there. I was with his friend, the soft gentleman, who was holding me hostage, but I did escape and I am back. And now there's a couple people from there. Renee Mayette was there yesterday, and I see somebody is here, and so good to see you. And there's a few of you who hang out in HB streams, so you probably saw that whole occasion last night. So anyway, all right. Other COVID news. It was interesting. The former Biden COVID-19 czar. Now, this is an interesting headline from the beginning because I'm thinking, wait a minute, former Biden COVID-19 czar? Wait a minute. How long has Biden been in office? He's been in office, 120 days roughly? If you listen to that answer to a reporter the other day. And this guy's a former Biden COVID-19 czar. How did he get out of here so fast? Good morning, Green Badger Outdoors, Zach Osborne, Tweets the Kid, and Asian Research Directorate. So anyway, he says next time, motherfucker, we don't want no next time. Americans need to sacrifice more during the pandemic. In a Monday interview with CBS, a former COVID-19 advisor for President Joe Biden's administration said Americans will need to sacrifice more in the event of another pandemic. Didn't we already screw this one up a little bit? Oh boy. I guess he wants us to be Canada. Or what's the state in Australia that's really, Victoria? Is that the state? What is the state down there that's really draconian lockdown rules? I can't remember which one. Some of you Australians could tell me that. Anyway, we denied the virus for too long under the Trump White House. There was too much squashing of dissent and playing on divisions. Andy Slavitt, the former White House COVID-19 response advisor, said on CBS this morning. Okay, Andy Slavitt, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. in the vernacular that I normally don't use, let me ask you something, Andy. Who denied the virus? I am just curious. Whoa, that's really loud, isn't it? Here, let's turn that bad boy down. Who denied the virus under the Trump administration? Did the Trump administration deny it? Because he had a coronavirus task force in place in the middle of January when we first found out about this nonsense, right? And then they were constantly talking about it. Who denied it? I recall the Speaker of the House denying it when she was in Chinatown inviting people out for the Chinese New Year, and Bill de Blasio denying it when he was in New York City promoting the Chinatown and Chinese New Year, right? And the idea of squashing dissent and playing on divisions. What dissent? Who was the head of the task force from day one? Was it the mighty Terranome? Welcome to the Terranome. Dr. Anthony Fauci? denying it. Anyway, real quick, Horrible Gamer, thank you for sponsoring the show. And Horrible Gamer,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
With the bullet of a 223 variety, how did you escape the soft gentleman's basement and he was successful at buck breaking you? We need to know. Well, first of all, was he successful at buck breaking you? Do I look like I could be buck broke? Now, I don't want to use the disparaging term that can kick you off of YouTube, but that little thing, no. Ain't no buck breaking this. I'm a 6'4", 280-pound former defensive end. Ain't no buck breaking me. Please. Anyway, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Also, Teresa the Kid, thank you for sponsoring those YouTube Super Chats with this big dollar smiley sign. I appreciate you sponsoring the show. You can sponsor the show through Streamlabs and or YouTube Super Chats or Venmo and Cashapp. That's all in the description down below. Or you can just look right there in the chat. It says there, Streamlabs Superstar Sponsor Super Chat link here. Thank you for sponsoring the show, you guys. All right, I'm going to keep going here. So this jackwad added, well, here, let's listen to his stupid ass. How long is this?
The book is called Preventable. How much of this pandemic was preventable and how?
Well, of course, we would have had a pandemic here in the U.S. no matter what.
Oh, yeah, duh. It's preventable. Not preventable. Because it was here before we knew it was here. Just like it was in China.
China is asshole.
Before they told us it was there, we've already been finding out that people from that lab were sick as early as September. And in fact, a spouse of a person who worked at that lab died in November before they even told us about their first case and before they said it could be transmission from human to human. Okay, and then they didn't tell us till the end of January. Almost the end of January did they admit it was transmissible from human to human, even though a person who worked in that lab's spouse died from the mystery respiratory disease in November. So yeah, it was probably already here. In fact, my wife thinks she might have had it in February because there was a point in time where she had a little respiratory issue and she couldn't taste or smell anything. Now her taste and smell came back, everything came back. She had very mild symptoms, but it was here long before that. But anyway, let's listen to this jackhole.
But look, we can count the mistakes, and I think it's important that we do, if for nothing else, so we don't repeat them. We obviously had a set of technical mistakes with the testing and the PPE that we know about. But if we're honest, we also had two other types of mistakes that caused a lot of loss of life.
Let's hear this, Mr. Partisan Bullshitter.
One were just plainly political leadership mistakes.
What? Tell me what? Who downplayed it early on? The Freedom Rally this weekend in Malacca, Minnesota. Tell me where. I know where Malacca is. Interesting. You know, it's weird. Okay, I'll tell you about that later. I'll come back to it.
There was a lot. We denied the virus for too long out of the Trump White House.
We did not deny it at all. That's just it. We didn't deny it. We look. The president had advisors led by Dr. Anthony Fauci. And any information that the number one advisor to the president was Dr. Anthony Fauci. And stop that. Anyway, so anything that Trump said early on about this reflected the information he was getting from the good doctor. What do they call him? What does Monkey call him? The Terranome? Welcome to the Terranome. Anyway, so you know what Trump was saying? Yeah, we think that, we have a few cases, but we think we've got it under control. Why would he think we have it under control? Why would he think that? Because Dr. Anthony Fauci said early on, well, we're probably not going to need to make any. We're not going to probably need to make any changes with just, you don't have to make big changes in behavior. But if that changes, we will let the American people know. Yeah, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Anyway, So it wasn't that there was denial. It's just they didn't know enough about it early on.
There was too much squashing of dissent.
No, there was not squashing of dissent. What dissent? The only dissent came from the Congress people and Bill de Blasio and the governor who said, "Oh no, this is Trump saying this, so this is not going to be a big deal. You come to Chinatown and do your thing, and we're going to be safe and this and that." Good God.
But I'd also think we all need to look at one another and ask ourselves, what do we need to do better next time? And in many respects, being able to sacrifice a little bit for one another.
Okay, let me ask y'all something. Did anyone make any sacrifices during this pandemic? 15 days to slow the spread. That turned into 65 weeks. What sacrifices did people make? We need to sacrifice more. What are you talking about?
To get through this and to save more lives is going to be essential, and that's something that I think we could all have done a little bit better on.
So when we look in the mirror and evaluate our own role in all this, the public, how we could have sacrificed more, as you say, and we think about the possibility of a difficult fall or winter.
What, being locked down more? All those essential workers, did they sacrifice by having to work more and going out in the very dangerous situation, and then all the people who stayed home, and we left our grandparents alone in nursing homes, well, except for Andrew Cuomo and some other Democratic governors who just thought it'd be easier to kill them off. Come on, what are you talking about?
Or a difficult variant. What more needs to be done now to prepare ourselves as a public, putting aside the government and the scientific part of this, for us as the public?
The other funny thing about this is, so they're sitting here talking about what we need to do to prepare for the next pandemic, right? When was the last really major pandemic that really killed a lot of people worldwide? Now, granted, there was 68. I think there was some kind of flu that came through that killed a lot of people, right? I think there's 54. 2008 or 1918, obviously the Spanish flu pandemic. But how often does this actually happen? Are they gonna start doing these pandemic protocols every time a new flu comes around or every new disease comes around? Hello, always lost on nothing else, aka Alone, who says, I made a sacrifice. I'm done smoking weed. I get my buzz from Black and Milds. Try it if you wish. You didn't sacrifice shit. I didn't sacrifice shit. I'm a selfish prick, and none of you mean enough to me to do so. I got to tell you, I don't know if doing what I did was called a sacrifice, other than I sacrificed seeing my mom and also seeing my kid's grandma. The grandmas and whatnot. We sacrificed. We're having so in my house. Lady Boomer and I are having Christmas this coming weekend, because we couldn't have our normal Christmas gathering in December. So we're combining Father's Day and Christmas and my daughter's engagement celebration, just the family celebration this weekend, because we sacrificed having people over for Christmas. We sacrificed being with people. But did I sacrifice other than that? No, I worked every day through the pandemic. I never stopped working at either of my two jobs. I still did my show. I still did my some of my basketball training. I still coached basketball. I didn't my sacrifice was just seeing some people, you know what I mean? And some of you, like, see, some of you said, yeah, I kept seeing my grandmother. But my mother, who lives 6 hours away, she's 92 years old, or she's going to be 92. And we had to be very careful. And because we didn't know, we didn't know the whole story. And our other friend, who is our kid's other grandma, we call her our other grandma, she was very, very cautious and stayed home and didn't do anything. A lot of people sacrificed, and I'm not sure what he means. And the next pandemic, when's the next pandemic coming? Are they going to release something from another lab? I shouldn't have said that out loud. Holy shit. Anyway, let's see the rest of this dumbass.
What's the message?
Well, there's a couple simple things. One is that all the people that for so long live so close to the edge, that don't have a great safety net, that don't have great health insurance, but they're forced to work day in and day out to serve us. They're growing crops. They're delivering food to our warehouses. They're working in grocery stores. They're delivering food to our door. All those people are at risk all the time, and so we have to.
But life is a risk. Good God, life is a risk. What is this guy talking about? Hello, Gamer Valine. 1900 to 1904, bubonic plague was all over San Francisco. We were lucky that transportation wasn't at the current capability. Yeah, or even with the, like the supposed Ebola plague and the, and AIDS and all those things. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, let's see.
There's a chapter in the book called The Room Service Pandemic, and it talks about how a lot of us had it quite okay during the pandemic and others didn't. So we should be looking at that. And then look,
what does that mean?
The spread of the disease is really about a couple simple things. Not breathing near one another in large spaces.
Oh my God. No. What did he say? Not breathing near each other? Hang on.
And others didn't. So we should be looking at that. And then look, preventing the spread of the disease is really about a couple simple things. Not breathing near one another in large spaces.
Okay, did you hear what he just said? Not breathing near each other in large spaces. What the hell does that mean? Okay, everybody stop breathing. Because we know the masks. I can't say it. Don't work. Anyway, thank you, Horrible Gamer, with another 5 spot through YouTube Super Chat. It says, P-Dawg, how can I send you a video to see if you are interested? Judge Joe talking a lot of insightful stuff. If you are on Twitter, you can follow me at, here, hang on a second here. On any of these, oops, the wrong one. On any social media platform, I'm at PDawgKnight. Twitter, Minds Gab, Parler, Cloud Hub. Twitter DMs are open. You can send me videos there. I've seen a lot of Judge Joe Brown. He is, yes, he is quite insightful, and he's not a fan of Joe Biden. In fact, I was watching him with Kwame Brown, who's just blowing up all of a sudden, a former NBA basketball player. Who's had some beef with a few prominent people on, I wouldn't say black Twitter, but they're people on Twitter that happen to be black. And Kwame Brown had Judge Joe Brown on, and they got to talking about Biden, and boy, Joe Brown does not pull any punches when it comes to Joe Biden. Anyway, Twitter, my Twitter DMs are open if you're on Twitter. If you're not, I know you're on Twitter. I've seen you on Twitter, so that's where you can send them. Anyway, all right. Hello, Duck Dog. How you doing, man? Nice to see you back. All right, let's finish this jag off.
That's really it. If you want to be overly
not
simple
breathing
about it.
near each other in large spaces. Not breathing near each other in large spaces. Not breathing. Stop your breathing in this large space near people. Andy, you just need to stay home. Next time there's any hint of any disease coming around, why don't you just stay home and maybe, they have these new masks. They kind of look like sandwich bags, but you pull them over your head really tight, and then nothing can get in, and you tie them right here, Andy, and then you will have no problem breathing around other people. Oh, good God.
It requires a certain amount of sacrifice and change. It's a short period of time.
A short period of time. Okay, how long to slow the spread? Anyone remember how long to slow the spread? 15 days to slow the spread, which has turned into 65. What is 65 weeks now? It's the 65th week. Oh my gosh. Genti, somebody should ask this guy for demonstrations on how to go about that. Yes, show us how you stop breathing.
None of us can do it forever, and it's not pleasant. But when we do, we reduce the amount of spread pretty dramatically. And if the variants come back in the fall, as they will, the people who are unvaccinated really are going to need to pay serious attention to that and consider getting vaccinated.
Well, wait a minute. If the vaccines work, and right now about, let's see, 45% of Americans have had their first jab, or no, 65% of Americans have their first jab, 45 are fully vaccinated, and what is it, 45 I think have gotten their first jab, and according to Dr. Fauci's original statement on this, 50% would get us close to herd immunity. And if you take all the people like me who've already had it, and and the thing is, the other part of this is, okay, so those of us who've already had it, so now they're saying there's studies out there that's saying that the immunity could be permanent, but there are some people who actually got it a second time. Notice, though, they haven't mentioned any single person who tapped, and we're talking like 2,000 people around the world out of, 140 million that have had the disease, okay? Have they mentioned any of those people dying? Because you'd be hearing about it if they had. That's the other thing. They have you in this panic. And they're even saying that some people who have been vaccinated are getting it, right? So they have you in this panic that says, well, you might get it. You still might get it. Well, but if you get it a second time, if you get it after you're vaccinated, aren't the symptoms supposed to be less severe because of the immunity, right? So what? Even it's crazy. Even if you get it again, okay, the symptoms are less severe. Now, most people like me, remember, I'm a survivor. I love saying that. I'm a survivor of the stupid 19. And I had very mild symptoms. I just had to quarantine for a couple weeks and I was good. Except I still have, like, my sense of taste and smell are not fully back. It's kind of annoying because I really enjoy food, and it's harder to enjoy food when you can't taste it as much, but I can tell you it's coming back slowly. But anyway, if it was FTG Thursday, I'd be saying FTG to this guy. Hello, Faithless. What's happening? All right, let's move on because I've babbled enough about this. Now... Oh, there's a couple more. I have a couple more on this topic. There's new footage released showing the alleged activity inside the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Australian journalist Sherry Markson appeared Monday on Fox News, where she discussed new video footage that she obtained that allegedly showed bats inside the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the Chinese lab that many suspect may have been where the COVID-19 pandemic began. It's not a conspiracy to say that there were live bats at the lab, Markson said. It is a fact. As you can see, this video shows bats in a cage at the Wuhan Institute. You can also see there are researchers feeding it with a worm. I don't know what that sentence. That's a terrible sentence. And in this image, we can see researchers out capturing bats, and a bat even hangs off a researcher's hat. In another image, there are mass cages, hundreds of them. We know that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was using humanized mice for experiments. Humanized mice? Oh, that's unnerving. For experiments to see which coronaviruses could infect humans. And then that was on Tucker Carlson. You can watch the video. I'm not going to click it here. Anyway, also, hang on a second here. No, not that. The Wuhan lab partner, Peter Daszak, admits he didn't really see many bats in the wet market when describing studies using U.S. taxpayer money. Hello, random American. Despite the mainstream media and Chinese Communist Party narrative that stupid 19 originated from a wet market in China, EcoHealth Alliance president and Wuhan Institute of Virology collaborator Peter Daszak insisted that he did not really see many bats in these markets while speaking on a podcast unearthed by the National Post. Daszak, a longtime collaborator of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, also admitted that U.S. taxpayer dollars funded his research at the Chinese Communist Party-controlled laboratory during his appearance on a June 3rd, 2020 episode of the show This Week in Virology. Well, that's got to be an exciting show. Good morning, John Smith. Say hi to Elizabeth Warren for me. Thank you. The unearthed remarks come amidst increased scrutiny over Daszak's EcoHealth Alliance funneling money to the Wuhan Institute of Virology under the auspices of a $3.7 million grant, funneling money from the Wuhan Institute to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I already said that. From the Anthony Fauci-led National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID. As he admits on the podcast, we have 16,000 bat samples in a freezer in China that we collected using U.S. taxpayer money. We are the last organization funded by the federal government to work with Wuhan Institute. Okay, let's just listen to this because I'm stunned right now.
To the U.S.
Hang on, we'll pause this. So Daszak is, hang on a second here. I can't remember which one he is. I think he's the one right here. Here, let's listen just for a second here.
Yes, obviously.
Well, ironically, let's just call a spade a spade. Ironically, if the reason for cancelling this grant is because we're in a trade war with China right now, we have 16,000 bat samples in a freezer in China that we collected using U.S. taxpayers' money. I can't work.
Now this is wait a minute. Using U.S. tax. This is June 3rd, 2020 that they're talking about this. 16,000 bat samples in Wuhan paid for by U.S. taxpayer money.
Look on them, but China can. So how does this benefit us in any way at all? Yeah. It massively undermines the very logic behind that national security threat. To take away the last contact, because we are the last contact, with the last organization funded by the federal government to work with Wuhan Institute of Virology. If you're worried about that lab, don't remove the last contact to that lab. Absolutely the wrong decision. And it was made, I think, for political expedience, as many decisions are by governments. But in this case...
Well, maybe that political expedience... might be, now hear me out, it might be that we want them to stop fucking around with viruses that could kill half the world. How's that sound? Maybe that's why we want to cut ties with it. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61. What's happening, sir? Good morning. From the Trovo watchers last night on HB, they asked me to ask you to look into also streaming on Trovo. I could start doing that again. I have... Trovo and D Live. I could possibly do that. Maybe I'll multi-stream again. I was having problems with it a while back, so I just stopped doing it. But I think maybe I can figure it out. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61. GunFox61, the administrator of our YouTube our PDawgKnight.live Discord server. That link will come up in the chat if you want to jump on there too. Also, good morning, Maddie. How you doing? And that's for Maddie and Ronan. So they were talking about how they were doing this work in that lab back then. Speaking of indirect funding or maybe direct funding of the Wuhan lab, get this. Guess who else? Zuckerberg Group funnels 6 figures to Wuhan lab partner gain-of-function advocate. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, the funding group behind much of the unlawful election changes of 2020, gave nearly $500,000 to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. The university counts Wuhan lab collaborator, easy for me to say, Wuhan lab collaborator and gain-of-function proponent Dr. Ralph Barrick as a lead researcher. The University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill professor who has also attended conferences at the Wuhan Institute of Virology is described by the lab's Batwoman as her longtime collaborator, received the grant from Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg's philanthropic group in July 2020. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative recently awarded $433,000 grant to the University of North Carolina for laboratory equipment that will accelerate research to address the COVID-19 pandemic, a press release notes. This giant grant represents a new collaboration between the West Coast Philanthropic Organization, CZI, and UNC in search of a global solution to the pandemic. A summary adds, before detailing how the grant was used, the grant covers the purchase of a liquid handler, a robotic arm that can pipette fluids much more quickly and accurately than humans can, and supporting instruments, including another robot that detects active virus particles in samples and a machine to sequence RNA. Together, these tools increase the rate of testing compounds by 20-fold. The grant allegedly helped produce a study currently awaiting peer review entitled SARS-CoV-2 Infectious Virus, Viral RNA, and Nasopharyngeal Swabs and Serostatus of Symptomatic COVID-19 outpatients in the United States. Okay, whatever that means. Anyway, so interesting. Zuckerberg's got his fingers in there somehow with his money, and they're doing research against the virus and shit. Good Lord. Anyway, getting paid to fix the problem they caused. Yeah, you know, I wonder. I wonder who wrote the book of love. All right, moving on. Then the G7 leaders also are dealing with the pandemic declaration. First of all, let me stop there, because GunFox61 with the 5 spot, and GunFox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you, sir. Who says never trust China.
China is asshole.
Sickening that China releases a biological weapon funded by dumbass Americans. I am sure the left is back to funding Wuhan again. Anyone who funds any lab in China should be charged for treason and shot. No questions asked. Well, that's an extreme way to go, but we could give him a little solitary confinement jail time. I don't know. Thank you, GunFox61, for being a very loyal sponsor of the show. Thank you so much. Gosh, shot? Charge of treason, a shot? That's a little harsh, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, so the G7 leaders who met this weekend or whatever have made an anti-pandemic declaration. Well, at least it's anti-pandemic instead of pro-pandemic. That includes reforming and strengthening the WHO. Yay! An anti-pandemic plan is a low-hanging fruit. If this is being touted, then how badly did the summit truly go with Biden at the helm? Well, let's read a little bit and find out, okay? Nope, no jail time. Lead-pilled. Okay, I see you, Gunfox. I see you. All right, how desperate are the world's leaders to show the return of global harmony after President Joe Biden has replaced former President Donald Trump? Significantly, I should think, based on the signature piece of work the leaders unveiled at the G7 summit, an anti-pandemic declaration. Yes. So brave. So brave.
Resist we much.
Anyway, G7 leaders on Saturday plan to sign a Cobras Bay Declaration on health to prevent another global pandemic, according to a British government statement. I wonder if they're getting China to sign on to this, because, you know,
China is asshole.
Under the declaration, the G7 leaders will be vowing to take steps to ensure the global devastation caused by the coronavirus is never repeated. The statement said they will commit to using all their resources towards this goal when they meet in Cornwall for the second day of this G7 summit Saturday. So this was this last weekend. The declaration is a historic statement setting out a series of concrete commitments to prevent any repeat of the human and economic devastation wreaked by the stupid 19, the British government statement said. Now just imagine the kings and queens of Europe had... Hang on a second. Thank you, Dog. And nice to have you back. Also, nice to have you sponsor the show again. Who says, just a reminder, coming up with the virus and the vaccine was a plot of Mission Impossible 2. Oh, you're right. Yeah. You are absolutely correct, sir. And thank you for the 3, 2, 1. Oh! Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, Duck Dog, for sponsoring the show. Now, just imagine the kings and queens of Europe had such foresight after the bubonic plague swept through in the 1300s. The world may have missed out on subsequent episodes of the plague, as well as smallpox, yellow fever, and a host of other pathogenic scourges throughout history. I think we can comfortably assume that people oppose pandemics, except maybe the Chinese. China has plans to build 25 to 30 more biolabs like the one in Wuhan at the epicenter of the current pandemic. What? What? China is planning to build dozens of biosafety level 3 labs and one biosafety level 4 lab over the next 5 years as investigators take another look at the possibility that the coronavirus could have leaked out of a laboratory in Wuhan. Oh my gosh. China's Guangdong province plans to create 25 to 30 biosafety level 3 labs and one biosafety level 4 lab, the Financial Times reported. Wow. But dealing with China would be difficult, not lend itself to photo ops, so the international group plans to double down on what has already been done. The G7 declaration will spell out a series of concrete steps, including 1, slashing the time taken to develop and license vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics for any future disease to under 100 days. Yes, I want them to rush through every vaccine that they ever come up with again, because that is the fastest and safest way to develop vaccines. Anyway, number 2, reinforcing global surveillance networks and genomic sequencing capacity. Wait a minute. Reinforcing global surveillance networks and genomic sequencing capacity. I hope they just mean as in surveillance of these labs that China's building 30 more of. Good God. Thank you, Carl, for subscribing. I hope you're in the chat somewhere, but if you're not, I'm still appreciate you. And then 3, support for reforming and strengthening the World Health Organization. Yay! Yes! We must strengthen the World Health Organization. Are we going to take control of that? A little more control? Because I think maybe, just maybe, China might have a little bit too much control over the WHO, or at least they have, over the head of the World Health Organization. What's his name? I can't even think of his name, but the dude from somewhere in Africa, and China has been giving his company money country money, and so he's kind of beholden to China a little bit, and so whatever China says, he just kind of mimics and whatever. So I'm just saying. Anyway, each of these elements is full of trouble. While the speedy development of vaccinations is an excellent idea, pressing the public to take them while there is evidence of adverse health effects might be a little bit dangerous. Yes, I embellished that sentence. The global sequencing networks offered evidence that the laboratory manipulation of the coronavirus, but the elite media and compromised bureaucrats bullied scientists who asserted SARS-CoV-2 was bioengineered until recently. Finally, few informed Americans will forget that WHO initially went along with the Chinese, saying that the virus did not spread by airborne transmission.
China is asshole.
Do you know what's even better than that proposal? Why, the contribution of the very experts responsible for the awful response in the first place. Saturday's session will also see the participation of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and WHO Director Tedros Ghebreyesus. That's his name, Ghebreyesus. That guy, he's so beholden to China. That Ethiopian dude, because Ethiopia owes China lots of money. Anyway, according to the BBC report, the declaration is expected to incorporate recommendations from a report by a group of international experts, because, you know, the experts have been right every time, drawn from across industry, government, and scientific institutions. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, recommendations from a group of international experts drawn from industry. Okay, industry. Maybe they mean like the vaccine industries or whatever industries. Science. I get this. Okay, so industry. I get that. Scientific institutions. Experts from scientific institutions. I get that. But experts from governments? What kind of experts are they going to bring us from the governments? Anyway, thank you, GunFox61, with another $4.99. Marty, again, try those bastards who fund this shit with treason and lead pill them, no jail time. Also, the WHO is Chinese shill.
China is asshole.
And the UN as well, cause of debt traps. China making biological weapons funded by American taxpayers. I'm with you there. I got you. And thank you again for watching the show. All right, I follow you there, brother. I hear you. It's interesting. So now, an anti-pandemic plan as opposed to a pro-pandemic plan is low-hanging fruit. Is this what the leaders will tout? Then how badly did the summit honestly go with Biden at the helm? Oh, here's another Joe Biden moment. Apparently, he seems to get lost at the summit here.
How are your meetings going in Cornwall, Mr. President?
I beg your pardon?
How are your meetings going here in Cornwall?
Very well.
Come on.
See, he's lost. And Jill comes to the rescue. Watch this again.
How are your meetings going in Cornwall, Mr. President?
Oh,
how are your meetings going here in Cornwall?
Very well.
Come on.
Now, isn't it weird that they're all laughing?
They always do.
Okay, so, is anyone else find that weird? He's not allowed to stop and answer questions. Holy shit. What is this? Oh, we're not doing 5 minutes of that shit anyway. All right, how am I doing for time? I'm doing pretty good. Okay, I guess I'm gonna get through what I have open now. Apparently, there's a Novavax COVID-19 vaccine that shows 90% overall efficacy. This is I think this is the Chinese vaccine. Let's see. Novavax. Okay. Novavax might give Americans its fourth COVID-19 vaccine after a trial showed it's 90.4% overall efficient. The vaccine also protects people from moderate and severe stupid 19 in the Prevent 19 phase 3 trial. Stanley Erk, Novavax president and chief executive officer, said today Novavax is a step closer to addressing the critical and persistent global public health need for additional stupid 19 stabs. The clinical results reinforce that this whatever is effective. Who cares? I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that they've been working on in a Chinese lab. I can't remember, but anyway, if you want more information on that, there you go. More virus outbreaks in northern China. No surprise there, Good Fox. No surprise at all. Dude, where'd I put my wife? Right? Anyway, all right, let's see if let's just go with some odds and ends here. So apparently there's a woman in Washington State. And she had threatened to blow up a school bus full of kids, and now she's running for office with support from the Democrats, of course. Who hates Jews, threatens to blow up a bus full of school kids, and is running for Washington State King County Council District 9. Ubox Gadhere, I don't know how to say her name. And she has supporters. Washington State Senator Democratic State Senator Rebecca Saldana spoke ahead of Gardhere, it must be Gardhere, at a kickoff campaign event, chanting with supporters, "What do we want? U-Box to win." Is this it?
We have Washington State Senator of the 37th District, Senator Rebecca Saldana.
Okay, that doesn't look like a very well-attended event, but she's running for office. Anyway, the state senator also claimed that it was she who encouraged Gardhere to run. "When I got to meet her, I knew I wanted to work with her. I knew that we needed her voice and her leadership." Radical former Seattle City Council member and activist Mike O'Brien called Gardhere an amazing leader. It is not immediately clear if O'Brien and Saldana are aware of the amazing leader. Gardhere threatened to blow up a school bus full of middle school kids. On January 12, 2010, Gardhere boarded a Highline School District bus and demanded the driver inform his dispatcher that a national security incident was going on. As per police reports, Gardhere then began yelling at the children about America's relationship with Somalia. In an audio recording of the incident, the driver told Gardhere to leave the bus. She responded, "You need to calm yourselves down because I could have a bomb. Look at how loose my clothes are." She further suggested she might have a gun. The middle school children began fleeing out of the bus's rear emergency exit. Gardhere called them cowards for abandoning their classmates and told them they'd be responsible if they were harmed. Well, she just seems like a treat. When police approached Gardhere, she allegedly said she was prepared to die. A King County Sheriff's Office detective told the court no weapons or bombs were found on her. Her lawyer somehow pled the charges down to a gross misdemeanor. Well, this is Seattle, of course, so you know how that works there. Today, Gardhere makes over $130,000 a year working as the okay, listen to this title. The Equitable Development Division Director in the City of Seattle Office of Planning and Community Development. The Equitable Development Division Director, $130,000 a year. Makes me wonder what that means. In fact, okay, King County. Here, it tells you right here. King County, okay. Seattle, okay, this is Seattle's Equitable Development Initiative. Equitable development is an approach to creating healthy, vibrant communities and includes the investments, programs, and policies that meets the needs of marginalized populations and reduce disparities. The EDI framework embraces two broad goals with the dual purpose of both preventing displacement and increasing access to opportunity. One, strong communities and strong people, and two, great places with equitable access. Okay, this little taste of word salad brought to you by the City of Seattle, FTG. Oh my God. Anyway, so she makes $130,000 talking about equity. U-Box is her name. Anyway, or U-Box. Anyway, let's see. In a recent Puff Piece interview with South Seattle Emerald, Gardhere revised her own story and claimed that after she threatened to blow up the bus full of children, she was being criminalized for mental health issues. Well, that's exactly the kind of person I want representing me in my city or state government. Anyway, you can read the rest about her. Good Lord. Moving on. Oh, the mayor of Washington, D.C. was honored at the DNC for a riot response. Remember that? This is a flashback from the Federalist. New reports reveal she, not Trump, tear gas protesters. Remember? Because they thought that they tear gas was because of Donald Trump and the park police, and they were having a photo op, but then they found out that the city police actually are the ones who moved people out of the square and tear gassed them. Anyway, so for more than a year, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser allowed President Donald Trump to take the blame for what her police forces had done. The first speaker, former actress Eva Longoria introduced at the Democratic National Convention in August 2020 was Muriel Bowser, the Democratic mayor from Washington, D.C. Longoria referenced the clearing of a street in front of the White House earlier that summer, an operation the media had repeatedly falsely characterized as the violent removal of peaceful protesters with tear gas for the sole purpose of a photo opportunity for President Donald Trump. They milked that shit for all it was worth, didn't they? When peaceful, quote, when peaceful protesters were tear gassed across from the White House, our next speaker stood up, stood strong, and turned that place into Black Lives Matter Plaza in their honor. Please welcome Mayor Muriel Bowser. Woo! Yay! Amazingly, new reports confirm it was Bowser, not Trump, who tear gassed the protesters a few blocks away from the White House on the evening in question, that the protest had repeatedly devolved into violence and arson, and that the clearing was done for a major security concerns and not a photo opportunity. For more than a year, Bowser allowed Trump to take the blame for what her police forces had done. Internationally broadcast speech, Bowser inaccurately called the violent riots marked by widespread looting, arson of historic buildings, arson of the White House buildings, and assaults on scores of police officers, safe and peaceful. Oops. Then she blamed Trump for her own police forces tear gassing of protesters. While we were peacefully protesting, Donald Trump was plotting. He stood in front of one of our most treasured houses of worship and held a Bible for a photo op. He sent troops in camouflage into our streets. He sent tear gas into the air and federal helicopters too. I knew if he did this to DC, he would do it to your city or your town. And that's when I said, enough, she said. But it was Bowser who did this to DC, not Trump. And this is just we talked about this. The Inspector General said it was the Metropolitan Police Department that that deployed the tear gas after they had been being pelted with. No, they had cleared it, and then people were trying to come back, and it was not the U.S. Park Police, but the Metro Police Department that deployed tear gas. So. For what it's worth, the Metropolitan Police Department Bowser overseas claimed it tear gassed rioters who had injured cops by throwing an incendiary device at them. The reports came more than a year after the corporate press, other Democrats, and even some anti-Trump Republicans, but that's redundant. All of that had filled news cycles with outrage over Trump allegedly tear gassing peaceful protesters for a photo op. And here's Joe Biden right here saying that same very thing. He's using the military against American people. He tear gassed peaceful protesters and fired rubber bullets for a photo. For our children, for the very soul of our country, we must defeat him. I mean it when I say this. We can only do it together. Now, you know Joe didn't write that. That's bullshit. What? Russia banned Pornhub? Well, that's breaking news. Anyway. Say weren't 50. Yeah, weren't 50 officers. Yeah, a bunch of officers were injured. Anyway, so they kept that myth going for all it was worth. Anyway, all right, let's finish up with a couple more here, and then we're gonna get out of here. The Southern Poverty Law Center has done something lovely. So remember the Pulse nightclub shootings back in what year was that? I don't even remember what year it was, but anyway, remember the perpetrator of that, the Pulse Club nightclub shootings, you know, the gay club down in Miami, and it was it certainly wasn't any right wing or Christian group or anything, but they're using the anniversary of that, Islamic terror attack to demonize conservative Christians. 5 years ago on Saturday, a radical Islamic terrorist opened fire in Orlando's Pulse nightclub, killing 49 people and wounding 53 others. He pledged allegiance to the Islamic State during the attack, and ISIS later claimed responsibility. Yet, because Pulse is a gay bar, leftists have memory hold the terrorist intentions and blame anti-LGBT hate for the heinous attack. On Saturday, the Southern Poverty Law Center used the anniversary of the shootings to demonize Christian conservatives, an effort to restrain the excesses of the transgender movement. In a fundraising email, the SPLC noted the horrifying attack, saying, quote, "Today we remember those who we lost. We grieve for their family and friends. We honor them by keeping the fight up against anti-LGBTQ hate." In a sickening display of bigotry, several anti-LGBTQ hate groups and some members of the radical right praised the gunman. What? I certainly don't remember that, and I certainly would have remembered that because I would have condemned anyone who praised the gunman. But they're saying members of the radical right praised the gunman after the Pulse attack 5 years ago. This year's unprecedented legislative attacks on transgender people revealed that, unfortunately, anti-LGBTQ hate is still alive in state legislatures across the country. Oh, you mean the sports laws? Come on. The activist group bemoaned the fact that an explosion of hateful anti-trans legislation has threatened to make the increasing number of public spaces unsafe for transgender people. What public spaces? I'm not sure what you mean. On the first day of Pride Month, Florida became the 8th state to target trans athletes with a sports ban. No, they are fully welcome to participate in sports of people of the same physiological sex. Get the distinction? Anyway, naturally, at least 17 bills targeting LGBTQ people have been passed already this year. Out of over 125 that were proposed in state legislatures, the majority of these bills seek to prevent trans children from accessing life-saving, gender-affirming care, ban trans people from using public restrooms, or stop them from participating in sports, SPLC added. The email concluded with a rallying cry urging supporters to speak up against misgendering, harmful disinformation, and discriminatory legislation. That's how we will continue to grow a national movement against anti-LGBTQ hate. So, was the Pulse nightclub shooting an act of an anti-LGBTQ hate person? No. The shooter did kill members of the LGBT community, but evidence suggests that his victims' sexual identities had nothing to do with the shooting. As it turned out, the gay bar wasn't the terrorist's intended target. Disney World was, and he didn't even search online for, quote, gay nightclubs, end quote, but merely for nightclubs. He pledged allegiance to ISIS during the attack, and ISIS claimed responsibility for it afterward. The SPLC did not want to mention ISIS, radical Islam, or even the Islamic world's horrendous recent history of violence against LGBT people. So anyway, yeah, so they are, just crazy. Wait a minute. Oh, what's this? The activist group bemoaned the fact the explosion of hateful anti-trans legislation. Hang on a second. Oh, and then let's see. Instead, the SPLC repeated the claim that is made many times in the past that several anti-LGBTQ hate groups had praised the gunman. Is this true? First, the SPLC's anti-LGBTQ hate group category is rather elastic by design. The SPLC, which grew in prominence by suing the Ku Klux Klan and related racist hate groups into bankruptcy, has weaponized that history to defame its political opponents by accusing them of being hate groups like the KKK. As we explained in the book Making Hate Pay, SPLC co-founder Morris Dees discovered that reporting on hate is a fabulous fundraising tool. The SPLC exaggerates the threat of mostly defunct hate groups in order to build donors. Yes, they are the epitome of the grievance grifting organization. They are literally, they raise funds by creating, or not creating, but by, I would say, exaggerating the scope and reach of various hate groups. Quote, anti-LGBT hate groups, end quote, include mainstream Christian law firms like Alliance Defending Freedom, which has won 9 cases at the Supreme Court since 2011. The SPLC's category includes the Ruth Institute, a Roman Catholic nonprofit dedicated to helping victims of the sexual revolution. Upon accusing the Ruth Institute of being a hate group, the SPLC seized on RI's statement that homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered, which is a direct quote from the Catechism of the Roman Catholic Church. Yet, the SPLC has not marked the Catholic Church as a hate group. Also, the SPLC's list of anti-LGBTQ hate groups also includes the Family Research Council, a conservative Christian nonprofit in Washington, D.C. In 2012, a deranged man opened fire at FRC, aiming to kill everyone in the building and place a Chick-fil-A sandwich by each person's head. His attack was foiled, but he got the idea to target the FRC from the SPLC's list of anti-LGBTQ hate groups. Therefore, the SPLC itself seems to be a hate group. Anyway, yet no one at ADF, or FRC, or RI praised the radical Islamic terrorists who carried out the horrific Pulse shootings. Oh, didn't they? I could have sworn the SPLC said that there was widespread praise among right-wing, whatever. Thank you, GunFox61. Another $4.99, just shy of a $5. Who says, "Oh yes, just what I want. A grown-ass man claiming they are a woman to go into a women's bathroom. 1 second, let me get my flamethrower. I need to show some heretics the error of their ways." Okay. Yes. Maybe a flamethrower would be just a little bit outside, just a bit outside, but I get what you mean there. Anyway, let's see. Oh, now there was one jackhole, Donnie Romero, then a pastor of the Steadfast Baptist Church in Fort Worth, Texas, who praised the terrorist. But let's see, these 50 sodomites are all perverts and pedophiles. They are the scum of the earth, and the earth is a better place now, and I'll take it a step further, Romero said in a sermon published online by the Dallas Morning News. I'll pray to God like I did this morning, and again tonight, that God will finish the job that man started. Now, that's a little out of bounds for, a Christian who's normally would be preaching forgiveness. The SPLC responded by including Steadfast Baptist Church on its list of anti-LGBT hate groups. In this one instance, the hate group accusation may be true. No Christian should spout this kind of horrific vitriol. To claim that a mass shooting leaves the world a better place is quite simply beyond the pale. But notice, SPLC's sleight of hand in all of this. The SPLC has not previously accused Steadfast Baptist Church of being a hate group. It leveled that accusation after Romero's disgusting sermon. None of the mainstream conservative Christian organizations the SPLC demonizes as anti-LGBTQ hate groups praised the shooter. Which is, again, it's they're a hyperbolic grievance grifting organization. All right, let's finish up with just a couple little quickies here. This lady, I don't know if you've seen this one. Hang on, I'll come back to her because she's kind of entertainment. There's this North Korean defector who is studying in the Ivy League schools, and she thinks that even North Korea was not this nuts. This is what's happening in education, people. A famed North Korean defector, Yeonmi Park, offered a chilling account of her time at Columbia University, saying that not even North Korea went to the level of brainwashing that she witnessed. Speaking with Fox News, Park became increasingly dismayed with the cost of an education that amounted to little more than what she described as indoctrination. I expected I was paying this fortune, all this time and energy to learn how to think, but they are forcing you to think the way they want you to think, she said. I realized, wow, this is insane. I thought America was different, but I saw so many similarities to what I saw in North Korea that I started worrying. Like in North Korea, Park said she witnessed example after example of anti-Western sentiment and guilt tripping. During her orientation, for instance, a staff member scolded her for liking classic literature. I said, I love those books. I thought it was a good thing, Park said of her orientation. Then she said, did you know those writers had a colonial mindset? Oh my God. They were racist and bigots and subconsciously brainwashing you. Were they now? When it came to gender pronouns and manipulation of the English language, Park was even more confused. English is my third language. I learned it as an adult. I sometimes still say he or she by mistake, and now they're going to ask me to call them they. How the heck do I incorporate that into my sentences? She remembered asking herself. It was chaos. I felt like the regression. Felt like the regression in civilization. Even North Korea is not this nuts, she added. North Korea was pretty crazy, but not this crazy. Eventually, Park stopped arguing with her professors and learned how to just shut up so she could graduate. She reserved her most pointed criticism for the woke scolds who constantly lament about being oppressed. Because I have seen oppression, I know what it looks like, she said. These kids keep saying how they're oppressed, how much injustice they've experienced. They don't know how hard it is to be free. I literally crossed through the middle of the Gobi Desert to be free, but what I did was nothing. So many people fought harder than me and didn't make it, she added. Not being able to think critically was a real-world consequence in society, noted Park, and she recalled her inability to see that leader Kim Jong-un was the fattest man in the country while people were starving. In North Korea, I literally believe that my dear leader Kim Jong-un was starving, she said. He's the fattest guy. How can anyone believe that? And then somebody showed me a photo and said, look at him. He's the fattest guy. Other people are all thin. And I was like, oh my God, why did I not notice that he was fat? Because I never learned how to think critically. That is what's happening in America, she added. People see things, but they're just completely lost. They've completely lost the ability to think critically. Having seen the worst of humanity in North Korea only to witness brainwashing in the United States, Park admitted to feeling quite bitter and hopeless about it all. You guys have lost common sense to the degree that I, as a North Korean, cannot even comprehend, she said. Where are we going from here? There's no rule of law, no morality, nothing is good or bad anymore. It's complete chaos. I guess that's what they want, to destroy every single thing and rebuild into a communist paradise. Harsh words from a young lady who defected from North Korea. All right, since I'm out of time here, I'll just show you what the last two articles are. One is a Houston reporter is about to throw out some red meat to Project Veritas. She in a news report yesterday, she announced, well, here, I'll let you see her announcement.
Outages across the region. Fox 26 reporter Ivory Hecker is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect.
Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to help put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to AC units.
Okay.
This one broken
down. I guess we'll have to stay tuned to Project Veritas today and figure out what whatever the Fox affiliate is muzzling her about also. And then let's see. Also, there's a leadership shuffle at NBC News, apparently. ABC's, oh no. And also, let's see, two of the biggest players in broadcast news found themselves facing rocky transitions last week. Both ABC News and CBS News announced new leaders, and the executive producer of ABC's Good Morning America abruptly left the network. So something's going on at the network level, but they're losing viewers anyway, so I don't really care. And then finally, I'm just going to leave this young lady here and this tweet here, and you're going to have to watch it yourself. But here, let me give you just the lead on this. It's a video about where she says, here's your reminder that fat phobia is rooted in racism. I don't have time to play it, but it's just how it goes. But it'll be in the tab. So everything that we talked about today, every story I featured, and everything, every video and tweet and everything will be featured in a single link in the description down below, which I'll be adding at the end of the show here. So, which just happens to be now. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Hello, Stephanie. I see you there. Forgot how much I missed your show. Good info with a good mix of laughter. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Gang, it's time for me to go, but I do want to thank you for being here. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button before you go, and then also share the stream out. Also, oh, Cannibalistic Wizard too. I don't know what the moo's for. And share the show. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that. All that information is in the description down below. Thank you for today's sponsors, though. Horrible Gamer, Gunfox61. Let's see, Teresa the Kid, and Duck Dog. I think that's everybody. Thank you for sponsoring the show today through Streamlabs and or Super Chats. Also, thank you to Carl for joining us as a subscriber. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe thing, there, and then when the bell pops up, you click the bell and stuff. Oh, Black Hebrew Israelite!
That's right!
And just before I go, thank you, Gunfox61, for one more dose with a tray saying, well, if the left want to live in the 1960s, let's go full 1960s. Bring on the Red Scare and anti-communist raids on colleges. Better dead than red. The Reds are always watching. We got to figure this shit out. The whole Marxist push through colleges and universities and schools, and critical race theory and all that stuff. It's not good stuff. Thank you, Gunfox61, for sponsoring the show. But now it's time for me to go, because I am so glad we had this time together, and I'm not going to sing the rest of it because I'm already out of time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for everyone in the chat, everyone in the sponsors, everyone hitting the like button. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know you're here. That's it for today, though. I gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight. Excuse me. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.